Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're going to validate that awful pit-in-your-stomach feeling you might have experienced recently. You know the exact one I'm talking about, right? You were expecting this big, robust tax return. You had plans for exactly what you were going to do with that money. And then you log in, only to see a much, much smaller number. If you're living that exact scenario right now, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to figure out exactly what happened to your money.
So, let's dive right into this mystery. Because if you checked the IRS portal recently and your approved amount is just a fraction of what you actually filed for, listen, you are not alone. Across the entire country, millions of taxpayers are logging on and seeing their anticipated windfalls completely slashed. It feels incredibly confusing. You filed the paperwork, the software spit out a number, and then reality was just completely different. So where did it go?
Section 1. The Missing Refund Mystery.
Well, there are literally gears turning behind the scenes at both the federal and state levels that most people are completely unaware of, at least until it hits their bank account. Today, we're breaking down the 5 secret reasons your refund shrank. Our goal here is to turn this incredibly frustrating mystery into absolute mastery. You aren't just going to know what happened to your cash, you're going to understand the underlying logic of the whole tax system so you can better prepare yourself for the future. So let's get right into the very first reason.
Section 2. Beware the shadow debts.
The very first culprit triggering in the background, before your money even gets close to your bank, is what we call a shadow debt. And this perfectly illustrates the bureaucratic net you might be caught in. It's officially called the Treasury Offset Program. Basically, what happens is the Bureau of Fiscal Service actually scans your profile for old outstanding public debts. If they find a match, bam, they have the authority to snatch your refund right out of the sky to cover those debts. They don't have to ask your permission at tax time. It's a completely automatic interception.
Your money could be intercepted to pay off quite a variety of past due obligations. The most common offenders taking a massive bite out of your refund are past due IRS balances from previous tax years, unpaid child support, or even defaulted student loans. If you have any of these just kind of lingering in the background, the Treasury Offset Program is going to make sure they get paid first, effectively wiping out or severely reducing the refund you thought was coming your way.
But here is the real kicker, the one that catches almost everyone off guard. We all expect federal debts to impact a federal return, right? But many states now allow offsets for entirely local penalties. Yeah, that means unpaid county property taxes or even municipal court fees can be sent right up the chain. So a forgotten ticket or a local fee from your county can unexpectedly drain your federal tax refund. It really highlights just how interconnected all these financial systems have become.
Section 3. The age 17 tax cliff.
Now, if you have absolutely zero debt and your refund is still looking super low, we need to look at sudden mathematical drop-offs and paperwork traps. A really common one is just a simple math correction. You're going to want to watch your mail for something called a Notice CP12. This notice means the IRS adjusted your return because of a miscalculation or a mismatch. For example, if your employer reported a slightly different income on their copy of the W-2 than what you put on your tax return, the IRS computers will catch it instantly, trigger that notice CP12, and automatically slash your refund to correct the math.
This actually builds into one of the most frustrating math corrections for parents, the age 17 cliff. We all know teenagers already eat you out of house and home, but it turns out they eat your tax refund too. For years, you've probably been claiming the child tax credit, enjoying a really nice $2,000 bump to your return for your dependent. But the exact moment your child turns 17 in the tax year, so in this case 2025, that credit automatically plummets from $2,000 all the way down to just a $500 credit for other dependents.
Think about that. That means your kid celebrating their 17th birthday results in an instant, surprise $1,500 loss on your tax return. If you are using last year's refund as a baseline to predict this year's money and your child crossed that age threshold, your math was immediately off by a minimum of $1,500. It's a literal cliff, and the system doesn't exactly send you a warning text before you fall off.
Section 4. The side hustle squeeze.
Moving right along, the third major trap shrinking your check is increasingly common these days. We call it the side hustle squeeze. There's a fundamental difference in tax philosophy here that you have to understand. While traditional W-2 workers have their income taxes and payroll taxes handled completely automatically per paycheck, gig workers and side hustlers are treated as self-employed, and that means you have to proactively manage your own taxes through Form 1040-ES for estimated quarterly payments. If you just collect your side hustle money all year and don't send a dime to the IRS, you're going to face the music at tax time.
And get this, the threshold for this is incredibly low. If your side hustle brought in over just $400 in net earnings and you ignore those quarterly estimated taxes, you are officially on the hook. The IRS will ruthlessly take that self-employment tax, which, by the way, covers your Social Security and Medicare, and they will pull it directly out of the refund generated by your primary W-2 job.
It's a pretty brutal reality check. You might have worked weekends driving for a rideshare app, delivering groceries, or freelancing online to get ahead. But because those taxes weren't withheld up front, working that extra gig economy job might have actually consumed your anticipated annual windfall from your day job. You made more money, sure, but you essentially cannibalize your own tax return to pay the taxes on it.
Section 5. Your CPS Reality Check.
All right, knowing what happened is really only half the battle. The other half is knowing exactly how to fix it. I want you to follow this action plan closely. First, watch your physical mail like a hawk for official documents like a Notice CP-12 or a Notice of Offset. Second, track your funds actively through your online IRS account at irs.gov, or you can call the Bureau of Fiscal Service Offset hotline at 1-800-304-3107. And third, if the math just doesn't add up or you realize you need to strategize for next year, you absolutely need to bring in the experts to fix it.
To seamlessly navigate all these hurdles, you really need to look at CPS Accounting and Tax. They're the ones offering this comprehensive 2026 Refund Reality Check, and they can absolutely help you make sense of it all. Plus, with their nationwide virtual service, you can get expert help no matter where you live. They maintain convenient standard office hours, and they even have specific regional availability for folks in Iowa and the eastern USA. You can reach them toll-free at 1-888-490-0100, or just visit them online at cpsaccountingandtax.com. Seriously, when you're dealing with complex offsets, side hustle taxes, and these crazy tax cliffs, they are your ultimate solution.
And here is exactly why you cannot delay in taking action or reaching out for help. You only have a strict 60-day window to officially dispute any of these government errors. And that clock, it starts ticking directly from the date printed on your notice, not the day you finally get around to opening your mail. If the IRS or the Bureau of Fiscal Service actually made a mistake, you have exactly 2 months to fight back. So, I'm going to leave you with this final urgent thought. Use the contact resources we've discussed today to track your money, carefully verify any physical notices that arrive in your mailbox, and ask yourself right now, is your 60-day countdown already slipping away? Take control of your financial reality today. Get the right experts in your corner and make sure you keep every single dollar you are owed. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.